Ahoy! Whether you read manga, watch anime, or much like myself, you do both, you are going to come across anime adaptations that are really bad and others that are absolutely phenomenal. Over the years, I've seen some of the best manga series fall victim to poor productions, and really odd mangas that feel mass-produced receive far more love than they deserve. Today though, I want to talk about a manga that holds a special place in my heart. Dead Demon's Dededede Destruction. There will be spoilers, so if you haven't read or watched it, do that before watching the rest of this video. It's written by Inio Asano, who also created iconic manga series such as Goodnight Pun Pun, Solanin, and numerous others. But Dead Demon's Dededede Destruction, which from this point on in the video I'll refer to as DDD, since the full title is quite a handful. I didn't start reading it all the way back when the first chapter came out, but I did jump on this series relatively early, around chapter 18. I had friends who had read Asano's previous works, and so I figured, why not give it a shot? DDD had me hooked almost immediately. It offered a very engaging, down-to-earth story centered around two young girls just going through life. From messing around, to having fights, to crying together, all of which is happening in the midst of an alien invasion. You may have heard of post-apocalyptic stories. This is what I'd call a pre-apocalyptic story. It really lets you know that time is precious. There's only so much time before impending doom. Make the best of your time. Don't waste a single day. So the two main characters, Ora Nakagawa and Kadode Koyama, two very different personalities that blend together in perfect harmony. Oran is chaotic, intentionally annoying, and extremely unpredictable. Kadode, on the other hand, much more pulled back, though not really shy. She has little to no ambition and is in love with her teacher. But they both share a common interest in war games, and much more importantly, in each other. You could not find two closer friends if you tried, and trust me, I have tried. I wanted this manga to receive an anime ever since I first got hooked, because the series was such a good read. I kept imagining what it would look like when it finally received the anime treatment, and let me tell you, I was not disappointed when it finally happened. It looked exactly as I had envisioned, colorful characters, just like the source material, placed in a world of joy and sorrow alike, each chapter coming to life in ways that's surprisingly hard to describe. But there was something that changed with the anime, and to this day I have mixed feelings about it. You see, in the manga there was an arc that started pretty late, an arc that completely makes you rethink Oran's character after what she has to go through in her childhood. In my personal opinion, it was one of the best plot twists I've ever read in a manga before. In the anime, however, they added this arc earlier, in the form of flashbacks rather than Oba and Makoto experiencing this firsthand. That still did happen, but you as the watcher had already seen it at that point. I understand why they did it, or at least I think I do, because the anime was originally two movies that were later put together into episodes. That probably was part of why they had to structure things a lot differently when adapting the manga. That, and to some extent, I feel like there could be an argument to be made as to why placing the backstory earlier into the story was a good idea. However, I think the manga placement of that backstory is way better because it gives you a much stronger reaction when you realize that Oran isn't just a really strange, chaotic teenager. There's a really deep reason as to why she acts the way she does. She's experienced her childhood twice, one where she's even more timid than her friend Kadode, something that was inconceivable to me as a reader. How could Oran, who I've known to be this really outgoing, quirky teenage girl with seemingly no filter, be shy? Then there's her other childhood, the one we're all too familiar with, the one where she becomes this annoying attention magnet. It is by far the greatest arc in the entire series for me, and I think the placement of that arc is crucial for it to have the desired impact. That same arc offers so much more than Oran's background though. It also shows you so much that never was. It teaches Kadode an important lesson. It takes a deep dive into sensitive, emotional subjects, all of which is the reason for Oran taking the step to change her entire personality. To have all of that pushed away earlier into the narrative, I don't know how to feel about that. I definitely don't prefer it, but again, I kind of understand why they did it. The actual backstory is really well adapted. I have no issues with that at all. It lies entirely in where within the narrative they decided to cramp it in. Maybe I'm nitpicking though. Who am I kidding? I most certainly am, but this is my favorite manga of all time, so I think I'm allowed to experience some kind of internal conflict with this change. There's also the ending. Don't even get me started on that. But that has nothing to do with the anime adaptation. Just the the author himself deciding to turn a near perfect story and somehow take a dump on what could have been the greatest ending ever. I don't care if I derail from talking about the anime at this point. So the entire story has built this plotline for Oran, following her actions, especially what she went through as a kid. She makes a choice that completely alters the future she will live. In doing so, she saves her best friend's life at the cost of the rest of humanity. What should have happened was that the story should have had a really dark ending. A lesson for Oran, to be careful what you wish for. She essentially sold out the entire world for one person. There should have been a real cost to that, to have her pay the ultimate price. But instead, after seeing all the horrors, they abused time travel a second time and just fix it, which made me and many others question, what was the point? It felt like such a 180 and almost a middle finger to the readers. Don't get me wrong, I love Asano Inio. Well, not the recent AI controversy, but outside of that, I love his works so much. I still love Dededede, but the ending took a huge dump on the rest of the series, and for that, I will never forgive him. Overall though, both the manga and the anime are really good, and I still strongly recommend you watch it or read it. If I had to pick one to suggest for you, read it. It has incredible art first of all. Now art is of course subjective, but it really looks immaculate going through his spreads with each chapter. The character designs are great. They stand out among the environment through their more goofy or typically quote-unquote anime aesthetic in a world that looks a lot more realistic. It truly makes them pop out in each and every panel. Second of all, it has a really well put together story to be told. It tackles so many aspects of life, especially through the eyes of a teenager. A whole range of emotions are addressed, and it doesn't shy away from including political themes. The series is really analogous to what happens when you let a kid play with fire. Well, not to be abrupt, but yeah, I think that concludes my little ramble about Dededede, a series I will always love until the end of time, even though it has some pretty disappointing flaws, like its ending. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Did you enjoy this manga or anime? I am sure most don't adore this series like I do, and even if you hated it, I want to know about it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, whether it's anime, manga, or video game related. I've been Frogheim, and I'll see you next time.